Hello everyone, we're Team 14 and we studied about the Pavilion Theatre in the project of mining Renfrew Street. The Pavilion Theatre is a historical building which was built in 1902 and kept producing and providing a wonderful space for different types of entertainment since then. The striking French Baroque appearance with terracotta facade has been well preserved till now, makes it an attractive building on the Renfrew Street.
Through the field trip and research of the Pavilion Theatre, we found that there are probably the following materials in the building exterior. First of all, we judged that the building is almost completely made of bricks, and there's about 1 centimeter thick cement between the bricks. The surfaces on the front and right side of the building are covered with a layer of light yellow terracotta and some plaster relief as decoration. There are 2 red plaques made of cast iron on the front of the building, and the building body has about 66 windows, of which the Aldebaran window on the top floor is the dominant feature of the theater.
To explore the interior materials, we looked at the technique book provided on the theater's website. Combined the information with the old photos we found on the internet, we did some sketches and tried to figure out the quantities of different materials. We also looked to similar buildings in the same time period to understand the structure of the building. Finally, we summed up the external and internal materials and made the material list. We also made virtual image and physical block model to show our output in different ways.
Pavilion Theatre between Sakhiao Street and Renfrew Street is in salmon pink terracotta, which after more than 100 years, it has faded to beige. The theatre was built in 1904 and based on the history of Scottish terracotta and brick making history. We assume that terracotta was made in a tailworks in South Lancashire. Terracotta has many advantages, such as durability and corrosion resistance. It is essentially baked clay, which has a high alkaline level that made it far more acid resistant.
Another component we selected was the Rococo plasterwork. It can be seen almost everywhere inside the theater, from the ceiling to the edge of the balcony. After the research of different types of plaster and plaster decorations in those theaters which was built at the same time period, we found that the material of Rococo plasterwork in the Pavilion Theatre should be the fibrous plaster. The major material of fibrous plaster is the plaster of Paris. After searching about information of companies which were producing it in around 1900 in Glasgow and the Digimap around this time period, we estimated that the original sources were from Arden Hydraulic Lime Quarry, Arden, Glasgow.
In terms of feasibility study output stage, as you can see, firstly, I did a lot of research on all the material analysis for this Glasgow Pavilion Theatre, and I summarized 10 materials and then do in-depth study research one by one to judge whether it can be recycled, upcycled, or downcycled. And I also use different shapes of color to indicate the proportion of materials in the building. Also, I provide the diagram in details, as you can see it here. And then focus on the next page, proposal of bricks and sandstone blocks. Firstly, I talk about the background information of this material, and then I draw the diagram into 3 parts. The first one is tells you the upcycling process, and next one is the application of recycled brick. Finally, is the brick my building part. All in all, I would say that recycled bricks are very fantastic thing. And as an architecture student, and I think we should to think more in-depth things, just like how to reuse the building materials, how to resolve the environmental issues. Yeah.
When making a model, we use Earth's Google Map to see detail from all angles throughout the building and draw a sketch of the model. Then cut the form board with a box cutter to make the corresponding building part and assemble them with glue guns.